Hello friends, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Target UPSC Prelims 2024 Current Affairs section by Drishti IAS. In this episode, we'll be talking about current affairs of your science and technology section. This will be the 5th episode. There are 4 episodes which has already been uploaded. So if you have not watched it, go and watch them. That can boost your prelims preparation. There are other sections as well like polity, economy, history, environment and geography, etc. So you can go and watch the current affairs videos of these particular sections that can boost your prelims preparation. So now let's start with the today's episode, that is science and technology, 5th episode. We'll start with the National Quantum Mission. Okay. So when we are talking about the quantum technology or the, you can say, National Quantum Mission, we know that India is trying to get excellence in these particular areas. These are the emerging technology and we don't want to be lagging behind. Okay. So now we have come up with this National Quantum Mission. The aim is to aid scientific and the industrial research and the development of the quantum technology that is self-explanatory in nature. It will be implemented by the Department of Science and Technology and the Ministry of Science and Technology, which is quite obvious. Then with the launch of this mission, India will be the 7th country to have a dedicated quantum mission after the US, Austria, Finland, France, Canada and China. Now you have to remember these countries: US, Austria, it is not Australia, it is Austria, Finland, France, Canada and China. Okay, now these are the 6 countries which are having a dedicated mission for the quantum technology or the quantum missions they have. Now India will be the 7th you can say country to join it. The same things are written over here. Now duration of this particular mission will be 2023, 24 to 2030, 31. Okay, please remember that. Nodal ministry we have seen, that is science and technology. Then what are the highlight of this particular mission? There will be 4 T hubs, or you can say thematic hubs, which we created across the country, which will be focusing on the quantum technology. Then we will have wide scale application ranging from healthcare, diagnostics, defense, energy, data security. Wherever we can use this technology, we would want to use this technology. There are certain advantages to it. Now strengthening the indigenously building quantum based computer, quantum computing if we are talking about, so we are trying to get advantage on that as well, to help have developed magnetometers with high sensitivity in atomic systems and the atomic clocks. When we are talking about the atomic clocks, if there is a high sensitivity, it means that they will be highly precise. Okay, so to acquire that particular precision, we are trying to use this quantum technology in the atomic clocks as well. Now support design and the synthesis of the quantum materials. When we are talking about the quantum materials for different use, we will be able to go for the design and the synthesis if we know more about this particular materials. Now huge boost to national priorities like Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, Stand Up India, Startup India, Self-Reliance India and the SDGs. So basically when we are talking about the quantum computing or the technology related to it, they will be used in the electronics industry, in the healthcare, education, etc. So that is why it becomes important for us. Okay. Now here you can say what is quantum technology. So if we see works by the using principle of the quantum mechanics, that is obvious. You must have heard about this quantum physics. Herein, when we are talking about the physics is mostly talking about the particles and the you can say waves, etc. Okay, so our earlier notion was that a particle you can say cannot go for the either there will be a particle or there will be a wave, either there will be an energy, either there will be a particle, okay, matter or energy. But now after looking into the quantum technology, quantum mechanics, quantum physics, we have realized that there are certain level at which a particle can be a matter as well as an energy. Okay, so that is the funda behind quantum physics. Over here you can see the physics of subatomic particles, including quantum entanglement and the quantum superimposition. We will see what is that. Quantum technology is a field of science and engineering that deals with the principle of quantum mechanics, which is the study of behavior of matter and energy at the smallest scale. Okay, so it is understood that particle can behave as a matter as well as energy. So at different scale it will happen differently. So that is the study. When you are talking about the smaller scale, that study is basically your quantum physics. Okay. Now coming to the other portions which is related to your quantum superimposition. Now in UPSC they can ask you terms like this, and that is why I am telling you in the simple language here, the ability of the quantum system to be multiple states simultaneously. Okay. So when we are talking about electronic devices, etc., or when we are talking about the computers, we have seen that there will be these systems are basically binary. Either they will be 0 or 1. Either they will be off or on. Okay. But when we are talking about this superimposition, so there can be another state as well. They can exist simultaneously. Okay. So here you can say while the digital computers stores data as bits, okay, ones and zeros of the binary, either 0, either 1. That is basically bits. Okay. Now quantum computers use qubits Okay, when we are talking about the quantum physics, quantum computers, they use qubits and not the bits. Okay, so that is the, you can say, parameter that exists as 0, 1 or both at the same time. Okay, so here you can say that while in the digital computers it was either 1 or 0, in the quantum physics, in the quantum computers, there will be 0, 1 or both. Okay, now their superimposition state creates a practically infinite number of possibilities, allowing for the fast simulations and the parallel calculations. Since it can be 0, 1 or both, so there are various possibilities which can be happening over there, and that will help you go for the faster calculations, and that is why the quantum computers are basically fast. Okay, so that phenomena of existing simultaneously 0, 1 or both, that is basically quantum superimposition. Okay, now coming to the quantum entanglement. With the entanglement, you have this sense that there are certain elements which are combined together or entangled together. Okay, so basically there are two pair, or you can say two members of a pair, they are entangled with each other, so they will form a single unit. Okay, now it means that two members of a pair, that is basically your qubits, that is parameters which when we are talking about the quantum computers. So these qubits, when they are entangled with each other, there are two qubits which are forming a single system. Let's say this is your one qubit and this is the second qubit, and they are entangled in a system. That is what entanglement is. Okay, so here you can say two members of a pair, that is qubit, exist in a single quantum state. Okay, now if you change the property of one of them, the other also changes, because they are entangled with each other, they are in the same system. So if you change the property of this will also change. Okay, when we are talking about the qubits, what are the properties? Either it can be 0, it can be 1 or both. Okay, now in this system, if it is 0, then it is 0, it is 1, then it is 1, if it is both, then it is both. Now that is how in the quantum physics they go for the encryptions. Okay, so they go for the encryption. If someone is trying to, just let's say I have given this particular position f 0, 0 to both of them, and if someone comes here and they are started trying to tamper with this particular thing, they try to change with this particular thing, this will automatically change, and I will get to know that someone has hampered this particular thing. Okay, so that is why it is used in the encryptions in the coding as well. Okay, I hope this is difficult to understand, but just know that it is nothing but you can say system of two qubits which are having similar properties. If you try to change one, the another will also get changed. Okay, so that is as simple as that. That is quantum entanglement. Okay, now coming to the next part, which is basically your internet neutrality or the net neutrality. With the name, it is clear that there should not be any kind of discrimination when we are going for the utilization of the service on the internet. Okay, simple. Now the Cellular Operators Association of India, okay, which represent Bharti Airtel, Vodafone, Idea and Reliance Jio. So basically these are the companies which are, you can say, when we are talking about the telecom sector, these are the important companies. Okay, these are telecom operators in India, has been demanding that the platforms such as YouTube, WhatsApp pay a share of revenue to make up for the network cost. When we are talking about the internet or the connections are provided by these companies, that is your Bharti Airtel, Vodafone or the Reliance Jio. Now they are saying that by using that internet, people are surfing YouTube, WhatsApp, etc., and they are generating some kind of revenue. And these services for the net, for the services, the network which is required of internet, which is provided by or the built by these three operators. Okay, so ultimately they are saying that since we are investing in the infrastructure, we are building this network, so whatever you can say revenue you are generating out of utilizing these services of internet, you should give us a share of that particular revenue. Okay, so that was the demand, and because of which again this topic of net neutrality has been in the public discourses. This has reignited the debate around the net neutrality. When we are talking about the net neutrality, it is the principle that all internet traffic should be treated equally without any discrimination or preference given to any particular website, service or application. As I told you, there should not be any kind of discrimination in the utilization of the services. Okay, now that is one thing. Here, net neutrality ensures that everyone has equal access to the information and services on the internet, regardless of their financial resources or size and the power of the website they are using. Okay, so if you have more money, if you are going for the, you can say a recharge which is 100 Mbps speed and someone is going for the 25 Mbps, so that is the discrimination which is available as of now. But we are trying to move for the net neutrality, where should this kind of you can say discrepancy should not be there, okay, because when we are talking about the internet, this is a, you can say, a common resource, okay. That is why people are actually advocating net neutrality. Now, how net neutrality is regulated until now, India, when we are talking about, there was no direct regulation on that. Until now, net neutrality has not directly been regulated in India by any law or the policy framework. Over the last years, there have been some development with respect to the formulation of the net neutrality policy. Some developments, again, there is no dedicated, you can say, statute for that. Without net neutrality, ISP, Internet Service Provider, would have the ability to shape the internet traffic to derive extra benefits from it, okay. So they can say that if you want a speed of 150 Mbps, or you can say 200 Mbps, you have to pay extra, okay. And because of which, if someone is using this particular speed for more time, those people who are not being able to give this particular amount of money, they will be stuck with the lesser speeds, okay. So now this discrimination should not be there, and the phase or the stage where this discrimination is ended, everyone is utilizing net at the same speed, and everyone can utilize the service available on the internet. That stage is basically your net neutrality, okay. Now here you can see there are certain things which are given, that when we are talking about the net neutrality, all traffic on the internet should be treated equally. All traffic means that all the users, okay. Then no blocking. The internet service provider cannot block you if you are not paying for it, okay, or you can say if you are not going for a specific particular services, so your internet access provider cannot block you from accessing the legal content of your choice. Now no throttling, okay. So your your internet access provider cannot intentionally throttle legal internet traffic to slower speed than the other traffic, okay. So they cannot restrict the speed of your internet uses. No paid prioritization, okay. That particular thing is there when we are talking about the current scenario. They are saying that there should not be such prioritization. There should not be, you can say, giving services like more money, more speed, or less money, less speed. So such things should not be there when we are talking about the net neutrality. Now moving further, that is your outer space governance, okay. With the name, it is clear that we are talking about the outer space, or you can say we are talking about the area which is outside our Earth's atmosphere. Now we are talking about the regulation of such things, okay. So here you can say space law encompasses that the legal framework governing activities conducted beyond Earth's atmosphere, okay. It comprises of collection of the international conventions, provisions, resolutions which are there, okay, alongside the regulations set by the individual nations, okay. So that is the thing which we will be talking about. Now we will start with some particular legislations, or you can say some particular conventions, okay. Now outer space treaty, we have 1967, we have this particular treaty which says that, formally titled Treaty on Principle Governing Activities of States in the Exploration and the Use of Outer Space. That is the formal title. You don't have to remember that. Just remember that Outer Space Treaty, including moons and the other celestial bodies, come into existence in 1967. Okay. Now it is signed by 103 countries and ratified by the key nations such as UK, Russia, USA. This treaty aims to regulate and oversee the action of member states concerning the celestial bodies and the moon. So member states who are going outside for the various missions, okay, so we are trying to have a oversee, or you can say regulation on these members by this particular treaty, okay. So just remember the Outer Space Treaty, when it came into picture, who has ratified it, how many members are there, and what was the objective, okay. Now coming to the next, that is rescue agreement. With the name, it is clear that in 1968 we have come up with the rescue agreement. Whenever there is a, you can say, entity which is sending, which we are sending to the space, let's say if that can be astronaut, that can be an object which we are sending, that can be a satellite. So we are talking about the rescue of such things. So rescue agreement, known formally as the agreement on the rescue of astronauts, the return of astronauts, the return of object launched into outer space, is an international accord outlimiting the responsibility, or you can say outlining the responsibility of the state regarding the space person, you can say rescue. Okay, so basically if we are sending something to space and that was supposed to come back to our atmosphere, if there is a some kind of mishappening which is happening, so all of these countries are having this duty to go and try to bring them back. Okay, so that is your rescue agreement. Now Liability Convention 1972, the Liability Convention enforced that came into picture in 1972 or enforced on 1972, serves to define liability for space related damages. If you are going for any kind of damage which is happening in space, you will be liable for that. Okay, so that is basically liability convention. Currently it has been signed by the 22 states, aiming to govern international liability for damage caused by the space or caused in the space. Okay, now registration convention. So basically if you are sending something outside the atmosphere of the earth, you have to register for it. That is as simple as that. In 1975 it came into picture, adopted by United Nations General Assembly in 1974, and convention on the registration of objects launched into outer space became effective in 1976. Currently it has been ratified by the 72 states as of February 2022. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Now we can move further with the next article, the FLAMINGO project. Okay, so there are some mysteries in the universe which are still there, and we are trying to explore all those areas, okay, which are not yet explored. Now astronomers has carried the biggest ever computer simulation to investigate how universe evolved. Okay, so that is the basic question, how universe evolved, and for that we have this particular project, that is FLAMINGO project. Okay, now why we have given the name of this particular thing, that is flamingo. Here you can say how a flamingo bird is on one leg and they are looking for the particular thing inside the water, and this is the shape that is why we have used this particular name, that is flamingo. There is the expanded form of this particular project. We will say the acronym stands for the full hydro large scale structure simulations with all sky mapping for the interpretation of next generation observation. You don't have to remember this thing, just remember this particular flamingo project. And flamingo project is 𝐏𝐲 Consortium for Cosmological Supercomputer Simulations. Okay, just know that there is this 𝐏𝐲 Consortium. They actually have started this particular project. FLAMINGO is a project of the 𝐏𝐲 Consortium. Okay, now the universe with its vast array of stars, galaxies, celestial wonders, distribution of their matter has long captivated the mind of astronomers and cosmologists. So basically the question in front of everyone is that all these stars, galaxies, celestial bodies, the distribution of the matter inside these bodies, all these things, how has happened? How has all these things has happened? So ultimately that is the question in front of the astronomers and the cosmologists. So that is the objective when we are talking about the FLAMINGO project aims to shed light on this cosmic mystery and shortcomings of the existing cosmological simulations. Okay, so basically that is the project which is basically trying to look into the mysteries of the universe. Okay, you don't have to know much more than that, that is sufficient. That is one thing. What is the aim of the FLAMINGO project? And it is of the 𝐏𝐲 Consortium, and if you can remember this name or you can read it for 2, 3, 4 times, that would be fine for it. Okay, now coming to the next part, that is antimicrobial resistance. Okay, so when we are talking about the antimicrobial resistance, recently there was a survey which has been conducted by the National Center for Disease Control, and they have highlighted several key findings regarding the prescription and the use of antibiotics in the hospitals amidst growing the antimicrobial resistance. We will see what is antimicrobial resistance, but there was this studies which says that what is the pattern in the use of these antimicrobial, I mean these antibacterial drugs or antimicrobial drugs. Okay, because of which if we are not going for the proper use of the these drugs, if you are not going for the prescribed method of use of these drugs, there are chances that, let's say you have taken a dose of like 7 days. Okay, you had a fever, you had a viral fever, you went to the doctor prescribed you a antimicrobial drug, and you have taken it for 3 days and you felt better, and then you stop taking the drug. Okay, now the problem is that infection is not fully cured inside your body, because that was supposed to take 7 days, and that is why doctor has prescribed you for the 7 days, but after 3 days you felt fine, so you stop taking the that particular medicine. Okay, after some time that infection will again resurface. Okay, then you will go for the similar thing. Doctor will give you for 15 days, but you will, after 7 days, that particular infection will suppress and you will stop taking the medicine, and again that is not fully cured, but it is inside your body, that is just suppressed. Okay, now you know that these microbial bodies, or you can say microorganisms, they go for the mutation. Okay, now since they know that you have been using this particular drug once or twice, now they will start developing a resistance towards this particular drug. Okay, they will go for a genetic mutation and they will make themselves, you can say, resistant to this particular drug. So next time when there is this particular disease, you are the infection is resurfacing, and you go to the doctor, doctor gives you the same drug, but that drug will not work on you. Okay, so that is basically your antimicrobial resistance, because your body, that particular virus inside your body, they have developed a resistance to that particular drug. Okay, so that is why they have conducted a survey and they have come up with the report. We will see. Now first, see, antimicrobial resistance is the resistance acquired by any microorganism, okay, that can be a bacteria, virus, fungi, parasite, etc., against a antimicrobial drug. Which drug you are taking, against that particular drug they have gone for a resistance, okay, such as antibiotics, antifungal, antiviral, antimalarial, all these things, okay, that are used to treat the infections. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now coming to the findings of this particular survey. So in this survey, what was found, that the overall half of the surveyed patients, nearly 55%, were prescribed antibodies. They were having this prescribed antibodies, okay, and only a small fraction of 6% of the people were prescribed antibiotics after a confirmed diagnosis of the specific bacteria. So basically what is happened, that whenever there was this prescription is there, so nearly 6% people were first diagnosed and then given a particular antibiotic. But most of the cases, what has happened, these people has gone to a clinic, and after the clinical assessment, that doctor has actually gone for an antibiotic. He has not gone for any kind of laboratory test. He, on the basis of the instincts, he has gone for the prescription of the antibacteria, or you can say antibacterial drugs. Okay. Now because of which what happens is that slowly these you can say microbials, or you can say these microorganisms, develop the resistance. Now NCDC survey notes that the one of the main driver of the development of the antibiotic resistance is the excessive and the inappropriate use of antibiotics. Okay, now what is happening is that you have a fever, you don't know what kind of fever it is. Okay, you go to the some kind of medical store, and over the counter you buy a drug, antibiotics, etc., and you take it. Now this is the you can say inappropriate use of antibiotics, and misuse, or you can say missed doses. Okay, there is this excessive use, because you are for every small disease you are going to the this medical store and taking antibiotics. Other than that, as I told you are not going for the full doses which has been prescribed by the doctor. All these things are the factors which are basically leading to the antimicrobial resistance. Okay, so I hope this is clear. What are the measures which has been taken by our country? So here you can see national program on AMR containment is there. It was launched in 2012. Under this program, AMR surveillance network has been strengthened by the establishing labs in state medical colleges. So now they are going for the establishment of the labs under national program on the AMR containment. Now national action plan for AMR, okay, it focuses on the One Health approach and was launched in 2017 with the aim of involving various stakeholders, ministries and departments. Okay, then you can say that it is an integrated approach they have taken. Then AMR surveillance and the research networks. Okay, so these are the programs which has been started by you can say our country. Name itself gives away that they are basically related to your antimicrobial resistance. Okay, now moving further, food fortification. Now this is you can say very important topic when we are talking about the fortification. It's a relatively new topic, and sometimes it has been favorite as well. So here you can say, in a response to the recent waves of criticism surrounding the distribution of iron fortified rice by the union government, so there was this some kind of response which was there, that there was some kind of issues with this particular iron fortified rices. The Union Food Ministry has released an official statement dismissing the allegations leveled against the iron fortified rice. Okay, now what is iron fortified rice? We will see. When we are talking about food fortification, what is happening is that whenever we are talking about some food which is lacking some kind of nutrition, okay, in India you know that there is starvation, we have this malnutrition, we have stunting, we have wasting. So all these things considering, what is main element is that there is this particular lack of nutrients in the you can say food supplies, or you can say in the food intake which people are taking. So artificially, if you are adding these nutrients inside this food, okay, so let's say rice is a staple diet in many of the areas of northern plains. So they have taken the rice and they have gone for the injecting the nutrients from the outside. Okay, so that is basically your food fortification. Okay, now fortification is the process of adding nutrients to food products that are not naturally present and are present in the insufficient amount. Okay, so in that particular food item, if either that nutrient is not present, or if it is present there, it is in the very small amount, so it is lesser than the body needs. Okay, So now what we will do is we will add these nutrients from outside, okay, and then we will give this food to the that person, so that these nutrient requirements can be fulfilled, okay. So fortification of rice can be done by coating the rice grains with a pre-mix of micronutrients, okay, by producing extrude rice kernels that are enriched with the micronutrients and then blended with the regular rice, okay. So what you are doing is you are adding these micronutrients from the outside and then blending with the regular rice so that people can consume it, okay. So that is basically the process of food fortification. According to Food Safety and the Standards Authority, that is FSSAI norms, 1 kg fortified rice shall contain iron, that is 28 milligram to 42.5 milligrams, then folic acid, that is 75 to 125 micrograms. Then we have this vitamin B12, that is 0.75 to 1.75 micrograms. So basically this is the requirement which is supposed to be there. According to World Health Organization, fortification of rice with micronutrients can be effective, simple and inexpensive strategy to improve the nutritional status and the health outcomes of a population that is consuming rice on the regular basis, okay. So that is about the food fortification, and this iron fortified rice has been in use, so please remember that, okay. Now in this iron fortified rice we have this iron, folic acid and the vitamin B12, okay. Now what are the advantages or the benefits? You can see the improved cognitive development, enhanced maternal and the infant health, then to address the problem of iron deficiency, to improve the nutritional status and the health outcomes, which is basically self-explanatory in the nature, okay. Now last is the preparedness and the resilience for the emerging threat, that is PRET Initiative. In the response of COVID-19 pandemic, 2 initiatives, that is PRET and the Big Catch-up, has been launched to better prepare for the future outbreaks of the similar scale. If there is something like that happens and that is affecting the supply chain again, so with that respect they have come up with these 2, you can say, initiatives, that is PRET and then Big Catch-up, okay. So PRET initiative was launched by the World Health Organization WHO and operates under the aegis of International Health Regulation IHR, which is 2005, which is critical international legal instrument for managing the public health emergencies, okay. So this PRET initiative is related to your public health emergencies, and in the wake of COVID they have come up with this idea. It recognizes that the three-tier system and the capacities to relevant to the pandemic preparedness should be there. Now what is this 3-tier system? So basically there can be cross-cutting for all the all or multi-hazard, okay. So that is related to cross-cutting. Then second is relevant for the group of pathogens, okay. So those you can say structures which are relevant to group of pathogens. So basically what they are doing is they are devising a strategy which should work in a 3-tier system, okay. First is related to your cost cutting, second is related to the group of pathogens, okay, so which is working for the group of pathogens, and then third is specific to a pathogen, okay. There are certain which need extra focus. For that there should be another structure, okay. The initiative was announced at the global meeting for the future respiratory pathogen pandemics that was held in Geneva, Switzerland, okay. So I hope this is clear. So this PRET initiative is about preparedness when we are talking about the public health emergencies. There are 3-tier structures which has happened. One is related to your cross cutting, second is related to a group of pathogens, or you can say targeting a group of pathogens, and third is related to targeting a particular specific pathogen, okay. I hope this is clear. So with that I would like to take your leave. If you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe the channel. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.